Sentinels had a quite hard times recently after Deho was added into the game, who was able to destroy majority of setups with free abilities through basically all map. Luckily, Riot decided to start buffing Sentinels as well, so after Chamber's Trap buff, we received Sage buff as well, thanks what she can now operate with Sage Wall and revive teammates in much safer way. Now I believe the time is for my main, Cypher. Here are my ideas. First of all, camera buff. We all remember there were times when Cypher camera could have the gun, right? But this is not the kind of buff I'm talking about. Obviously we all know cameras does not have arms, so how it could possibly hold a gun? Huh? But there is one thing we all know. The fact that is present since camera was discovered for the first time, and it is that camera makes you look wider. Here is where the first idea comes in. What if every time you tag somebody with Cypher's camera, it would make model and hitbox of the opponent wider? The patch notes would be something like Cypher's camera tag widens hitbox and model of opponents by 5%, as camera makes you wider. And as we are talking about Cypher cameras, I got another idea. Why to limit Cypher on one camera only? He's Cypher. No way he would have only one camera at a time. I can easily imagine him like Wilson Fisk in Daredevil watching 6 or even dozen of screens at the same time. But of course, so many cameras would be a bit overkill, but why to limit Cypher to have one camera only? So let's say he could have two cameras and switch in between them. Of course, it would be extremely OP in case you could place it anywhere you want. But what if you could set one from the another only like 30 meters apart? It would be of course limited by some cables or whatever. What would be the main reason you cannot set it up in longer distances? Just imagine, you could watch hookah and long on Bind at the same time, or elbow and short on Sunset, garage and long on Heaven Sea, and so on. I believe the main use of this would be on maps with 3 or more sides, where the lack of players, mainly on defense, is noticeable. Nextly, we got there another Cypher's ability which is called Cyber Cage. Cage, and what is purpose of cages? Serve to confine and protect. What means that as per description the cage should not only protect you by blocking bullets coming towards you, but also the walls should be solid so that opponents cannot go in, or if they are in, they cannot go out. Even though it would take away from me all of the kills to the smoke, what is around half of my all kills in the games. But it would definitely bring interesting gaming mechanics to the game. Like when Wise can have wall that blocks opponents from coming, Sage got her wall as well, which is solid, and Deadlock's cross of walls, the same story. Why the Cypher cages could not work in the same or at least a similar way? In the end, he is Sentinel as well. Okay, and last but not least, Cypher's ultimate. I believe we all had that moment when we messed up simply because the yellow flash of opponents during the Cypher ultimate completely confused us what is happening or where the opponents are actually staying. Here comes my idea. Instead of give me a corpse, you could simply activate ultimate, and while active you would have thermovision for like 10 or 15 seconds. Thanks what you could see exactly where opponents are and what they are doing. To add some skill element to it, you would need to know outlines of agents so that you could call who you can see and where. And I would suggest also slightly different color of thermovision in case opponents are lower or very low HP. On the other side, to not make it extremely OP, it would probably scan walls only in like 50-meter radius, and only Cypher would see the opponents while watching the cameras. So, if your random teammates without microphone speak the Cypher, you are in the end, I believe it would have some brutal use, mainly for example when opponent is defusing, you turn on your ultimate and instead of yellow flash twice that can mess you up completely, you can see him through the wall thanks thermovision, whether he's sticking it or not. I believe we could continue and we could come up with much more and even better ideas, mainly for agents that are really just barely played, but this, mainly the first idea about the camera buff, is something I had in mind for a few years now. So what about you? What are your ideas to buff or upgrade any of the current agents? Or are there any abilities that were already in game you would love to see back? Like for example Chambers 2 teleports? Let me know in the comment section, but for today that's really all. Thanks for watching, have a nice day and see you all in the next video. Goodbye.